Hi, this is Angelique Duffield from Bright Spark Media. Welcome to today's The Power of Free show. And today I'm going to do something a little bit different. Instead of having guests today, I thought I would do a little bit of a showcase show. And I'd even call it the shout out show because I'm going to be giving you a little bit of a recap and diving deeper into the topics that we've talked about this month with my guests. And those would be Facebook pages for business, public speaking to gain credibility and cash, and monetizing your Hangouts. So I'll be giving some examples because I think it's easier for you to understand how you can improve what you're already doing and get a little bit of inspiration when you see people who are doing it right. So it's going to be some of my best picks on those for you today. So I will be myself on the show today. And I will be screen sharing, which is one of the great features of Hangouts for those of you who've never done Hangouts before or who don't often see it. It's one of the great features, so I'll be demonstrating that to you today too. So this is the Power of Free show where we usually have guests on talking about the free tools and resources that they use to create a successful online business. And we help other entrepreneurs and business owners to create a successful business of their own. So again, thank you for joining me today. It should be a little bit shorter show than usual. I'm aiming for about 30 minutes or so. And as always, you'll be able to find the show notes with all of the links and things that I demonstrate today in the show notes on brightsparkmedia.ca/category, the power of free. So if you just type that in, like I said, the link will be below the show notes as well. So let's just jump in and get started. So for those of you who haven't tuned in for all of the shows this month, we had the very first one was Debbie Horowitz, and she was talking about Hangouts on air and how you can connect with celebrities and grow your business and get people of influence on your own show, whether that's a podcast or a Hangout on air or even guest blogging. So she also talked about sponsorship. So I thought I would we'll just start with a little bit more about Hangouts. Like I just said today, one of the great features of Hangouts is that you can do screen sharing. So I will show you in a second some examples of one of the best Hangouts that I've seen that kind of encompasses everything in terms of marketing. And I'll give you some examples of Hangouts where they were, some of them get sponsorship, but I'm going to show you how to monetize your Hangout because you can actually get people to pay to attend your events. So Debbie gave some really great tips on how to connect with celebrities. So basically you want to build relationships, and she took them offline, like from conferences and networking, and then brought her relationships back online and got people onto her show that way. So it's a lot of nurturing relationships and collaborating basically. And she talked about sponsors and how sponsors look at your show. So even if you have a small show with a small audience, sponsors will often come on board because something like $200 to sponsor a show for you to get their name on the show for your small audience is part of their budget. So even if you're not Coca-Cola or Nike, you'll still be able to get sponsors for your show. So it's just a matter of asking. So speaking of sponsors, I was looking for some good examples. And to be honest, I haven't seen a lot of people using sponsors on their show, like actually having a banner the way you do on movies and TV and things like that, or even on podcasts. Quite often podcasts have sponsors. And I'll get to podcasts when we're talking about public speaking, so I'll use some examples there. But one of the examples, let me just pull up my notes here, is Wade Harmon at wadeharmon.com. He is monetizing his Hangouts, and he's actually been doing it and gotten a sponsor right from the very start. He got $200 in sponsorship for his very first show that he did. And he's actually monetizing his Hangouts by having people pay, basically like a workshop or a live training session. So I will include the link for that, and he's actually got a workshop on how to monetize your Hangouts. What a great topic. And he's charging basically admission for it, and you get to be the panel of guests, so included in the film strip. And he will be doing it like a workshop presentation where you get your questions answered, and he's going to give, tips and tricks and templates and scripts on how you can get sponsors onto your show. So in a similar way, Denise Wakeman and Mia Voss did a how to monetize or how to how to create, influence, and monetize your Hangouts, I think it was, setting up a process for your Hangouts on air. And theirs was a little bit different. They charged for it, so they charged basically an admission, like you were buying a ticket to a conference or a live event. But they had it open to the public. So whereas Wade Harmon is advertising his where you only have 9 guests, because that's the limit that you can have on a Hangout in the film strip, like actually as guests to interact. Mia Voss and Denise Wakeman have done it a different way. So they've done it open to more people to view it. So they're charging almost like for a webinar. So theirs was a 2-hour presentation, basically like a webinar, then with Q&A that you could type in at the end. So that's a little bit different format, but both ways are really effective in finding a way to get people to pay for the information that you're sharing. Okay, so let me give you an example of a Hangout. So I'm going to pop over to Screenshare for you, and I'll kind of walk through why I think this is a really good example of a Hangout on air. For those of you who are thinking about starting yourself, you're probably wondering kind of where to start. But once you've gotten on air, what do you do with what you've created? So Mia Voss has got a really good system that she's created in terms of promoting it in the beginning, creating a trailer video, then doing the actual event, and then afterwards she actually does timestamping and puts it into a blog post, and that's kind of the format that I'm using as well. So let me just pop over. I'm going to just screen share and show you an example of the Mia Connect show. So this is it right here. So it's Mia Voss with the Mia Connect Power Chat. And you can see this is actually my Google Plus page, but I'm viewing her content. And this is one of the shows that she did. This is one of my favorite shows with Guy Kawasaki and Peg Fitzpatrick. Not just because of the information, but because it was a really funny show. The guests were awesome, and that makes a really huge difference when you've got people really interacting on the show. Excuse me for a minute, just getting a drink. So I'm not going to play it. I'll leave the links for you in the show notes and in the description below the video. But take a look at all the details in her show. This is something that's really important. I've seen a lot of people, just put a really brief description, but she has a chock-full description in her details for the show. So she's tagged the people. So in Google Plus, it's a plus instead of an at. She's introduced her guests and basically their little bio. And she's also got hashtags for everything, which is great. So you could actually click on this and come up with anyone who's used that hashtag. Just like for this show, it's hashtag TPOF show. And for hers, bat crap crazy is one of her expressions. And people you need to know and get your learn on. So you could click on this and you could find a lot of things that she's been talking about. So like I said, it's a very full description, and that's really important because it's part of the Google family, and all of this shows up in a Google search. So all of these are basically keywords that people could search for and end up just finding her chat show just by doing a Google search and maybe searching Guy Kawasaki and Canva, and might end up finding her show. So that's really important. And then she's also got a little bit of a description where you can connect with her too. And she's got her replays over here. So this is how she's repurposed it. So let's take a look at her. Basically, it's blog posts on her own website. And then she's got, let me just do it from over here. It's easier to do it this way. So this is basically the replays of all of her episodes. So this is just a plugin for videos on her WordPress blog. But you can see if anybody comes to her website, they can just find all of the shows in one place. Now, sometimes people aren't big on using Google+, so it's easier to drive traffic to your website, and that's also good for search engine optimization. And let's take a look at one of her shows. Just trying to find the same one here, but there it is. So I don't actually want it to play. I want it to get to the show notes. Actually, let me just show you in here. She's also got a big description in her YouTube view of it, because of course Hangouts on Air are actually run through YouTube. So you've kind of got you're doubling up your views and things like that too. Your visibility, because it shows up on YouTube. So on YouTube, in her description, she's got a slightly different description. She's got the links here, and she's got the link to her website, so that's great. And then she's actually got timestamps. Now this is quite time-consuming to do if you look at how detailed it is, but you could click on any of these if you find something that interests you. You know, talking about pinning and Canva and shout-outs to different people. And if you click on that time, it will jump right to that spot in the video. So, like I said, this is really good for viewers who haven't seen your show. Maybe they're just kind of skimming through it, and they just want to find a specific topic that you've talked about. You can jump right to it. So, like I said, that's kind of a really good way of demonstrating how to repurpose your shows and how to make it really usable and great for your audience too. So I'm just going to show you mine as well. And I've done a very similar thing, so I always have show notes, and people can go back to my own website and find my shows. And mine are all under the Power of Free show. And like I said, it just basically, these are all blog posts. And what I do is I create a graphic for it that people can share as well. I give, you know, a little bit of a recap of some of the things that we've talked about. And then I've got the actual show embedded, so I'm not sure if you know, but you can embed a YouTube video right into your website. And then all the resources and tools and things that we've mentioned. And usually there's a free offer. Someone's given a free gift, so people can connect, click on that and go directly there. And then how people can find out more about my show and to be a guest. So for each episode, you can see it's a little bit of work. And it just makes it, like I said, it's more searchable. So it's just reusing and repurposing your information. So this is another one, and this is actually the one that was talking about Hangouts on Air. And this is Debbie Horovich, and talking about how to connect with celebrities and influencers, and you can see it's a very similar format. So just playing the episode right in the web page, and people can then go right to the links to claim the free offer. All right, so let's talk about, let me stop screen sharing for a second here. All right, so we're back to me. And let's move on to the next thing. So the next topic was public speaking. So you just saw Chantel's post on my website for her topic, and she talked about the different ways that you can use public speaking. So it's not just being on stage and being live, like doing workshops and training, or at a conference and being a keynote speaker, but there's also other ways, and being a public speaker can be things like right here myself, being on your own, broadcasting your own show. So this is through Hangouts on Air. You can be on telesummits, or you can do podcasting. And those are all ways to start public speaking. So whether you're creating and hosting a show yourself, or whether you're actually on someone else's show as a guest. So a few of my favorite shows, I was just going to run through a few different things. Things like some telesummits or virtual conferences. There are tons of them. You probably get invitations to them all the time. And usually there'll be an opt-in form. You give your email address, and you know, there'll be a speaker a day or a couple of speakers a day for a week or 2 weeks, and they give some really valuable information, whether it's 30 minutes or an hour, and it might be an audio version, like just an MP3, or it might be a visual version, like if people are using Hangouts on Air for their shows. So a lot of those, they're becoming really, really popular. So it's almost like continuous webinars for a week from somebody that you trust that's created a series with a bunch of special guests that are on a specific topic. I'll give you some examples of that in just a second. So a couple of them that I've thought about. One is the Transformational Author Experience, and she's had great people as guests on her show, And what I really liked about her show was not just that she had guests, but the way she's kind of structured it. So the supporting emails for it, very easy for people to be affiliates. And she's really encouraged people to engage on the Facebook page as well. So not only do you listen to the 30 or 40-minute actual show, you can then go over to the Facebook page and you can start discussing it. And that's really great for getting interaction on the show. So that's one of the big ones, and quite a few people are doing that now, either having a private Facebook group. So especially if people have the paid products, that can be an upsell for you. So maybe they get all of the recordings, plus they get support in a Facebook group. Or you can just do it on your public Facebook page and just drive traffic that way, get more engagement, and more engagement, we'll talk about that in the third part, and our third topic for today, it really helps you to get on people's news feeds. So another example, and I'll go back to screen sharing again, is the the Online Business Superhero Summit. So this is it right here, and it's Marisa Murgatroyd who arranged this. And I really love all the graphics for it. It's really, really fun. They've talked a lot about things that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about. They were all quite long episodes. They're all about 2 hours long, really chock full of information, and then a bunch of Q&A at the end. So you can see how well they've done this on their website. So this would be the replays. So this happened a couple of weeks ago, and each day there was a different person featured, and they had a different topic, and you would be able to watch the replay, or you'd be able to watch it live for free, or watch it for 48 hours. And then if you want to watch it, then you can go and buy the entire pack of sessions and speaker products and the free offers that they gave, like templates and checklists and worksheets and all sorts of things like that. So that's another way that you could actually be on a show too. You could either create your own online show, or if you can keep an eye out for these things and remember what time it happens, because a lot of them happen every year, then just mark it on your calendar and follow up about 6 to 8 months in advance and just say, hey, I'm looking to be featured as a speaker on your show, and make sure the topic is in alignment with what they're discussing, and hopefully that can help start your speaking career. It just gets you in front of a bigger audience. So this is the Online Business Superhero Summit's Facebook page too. You can see, even though the event's over, they're still kind of keeping going with some fun things on the show too. All right, so let's move on to podcasts, because that is another way that you can start speaking. So whether it's creating your own or being on a show. And one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to all the time is Pat Flynn. So this is the Smart Passive Income podcast, or this is actually his website. So he's got blog posts, and he's got Ask Pat, which is really quick, short questions. But what he's most known for, I think, is his podcast, and that's broadcast on iTunes. And this is actually where I got the idea for my own show notes for the Power of Free show, because podcasts quite often give you all the links and all the information right afterwards, so that you can see anything that you might have missed, because a lot of people listening to podcasts will be doing it on the go. So maybe they're jogging or in the car. Like for me, I listen to podcasts when I'm driving quite often. It's perfect for 20 or 30-minute drive. And what Pat's done here is he's listed a few of the main topics that they've talked about. He's given all the links, and of course he's got the audio that you can listen to as well. So he's got a contest at the end, and then he's got some great calls to action. So click here. It's a click to tweet, so you can click out to Clay, who is the guest, Clay Collins, talking about lead pages. And then if you wanted to listen, you could play it right here. So again, this is kind of repurposing any of your shows that you're speaking on. And even if you're a guest on someone else's show, you would be able to more than likely embed the player, or if it's a YouTube video like a Hangout on Air, you would be able to embed that on your website too. So like I said, those are just some examples of how you can do speaking, so it doesn't have to be live. And I'll give some links at the bottom too for some of my favorite TED Talks and things like that. And one of my favorites is Nancy Duarte. So if you want to learn how to be a better public speaker, I mean, there's tons of resources out there, but Nancy Duarte did a TED Talk, and TED Talks are 20 minutes, approximately, little videos. They're basically like a speaking conference, and all of the episodes are good. There's TEDx and TED Talks. If you want to just, you know, search for them, you'll find lots and lots of different topics. So Nancy Duarte's was the common structure of the greatest communicators, and she analyzed some of the best public speakers. And of course, two of the people that came up were Martin Luther King's speech and Steve Jobs talking about misfits and things like that. So I'll find the link for you, because it's a really powerful speech, and I love how she's kind of broken it down into the storytelling aspect of public speaking. So I'll give that link in the show notes. And then there's a few others that I've liked. Seth Godin has a great one about stop killing dreams, and that's addressing how we teach people in schools and how people are learning in a different way, and maybe we need to think outside of the box a bit. And Erica Napolitano did one of the top ranked TED Talks, so it was one of people's favorites, and it's a bit of her personal journey of how she's come to where she is. Really, really funny and inspiring TED Talk. So I'll put links to those in the show notes for you. One more thing, I just wanted to say, another thing that you can do to do public speaking, besides, like I said, getting on stage, is doing webinars. So you can actually do a webinar, and you can do that through Hangouts on Air too, aptly. It works in with our topics for today. And you can do a webinar, like we've seen people have had paid entrance to their webinars, but you can just do free webinars and then basically sell your products from the end. So just doing a webinar showing how to do something, or how to use tools, or how to make more money, how to get more clients, those sort of things are really, really popular. And someone who's really great at that is Lewis Howes, who's got an entire program on how to use webinars to sell. So I'll give links for that in the show notes. And then, of course, public speaking also does mean being live on stage. And that can just be a keynote speaker, which you're actually getting paid for, or you can be a free speaker, and at the end, you generally have built up enough credibility and enough interest if you've done it well, and you can get people to take action and to buy your book, or to sign up for your coaching programs, or to just work with you further. So that's a really good way of using your speaking on stage. And some people have created some amazing events, and Suzanne Evans and Marie Forleo are two people that come to mind who do like 2-day or 3-day extravaganzas. So it's really inspirational. These are both kind of business and speaking related, and getting people really fired up. There's a lot of activity and actions and workshops, and basically they're using that not only to give you a lot of knowledge and information on the stage, but also after the weekend, you might have invested in that whole weekend to be there, anywhere from $300 to $500 up to $3,000 to attend a weekend event. And then at the end, you might even sign on to be in their longer-term coaching program. So that's kind of selling from the stage. So Suzanne Evans and Marie Forleo and Callan Rush is really good at that on a smaller scale. Those are some people to check out if you want to get into speaking that way. So finally, the third topic, the third person that I had as a guest this month was Eden Rudin, and she was talking about Facebook pages for business and how businesses can do, especially brick and mortar businesses, so they're physical businesses, not just existing online, and how they can connect with the community and use their Facebook page to build their business and to draw people into their business. So some of the tips that she gave was definitely claim your vanity URL, so not just having a string of numbers. And I'll actually find a video. I think I've created a tutorial video for that. I'll add it to the show notes for you. Choosing the right category to be in. So if you are a physical business, make sure that you choose a Facebook Place page so that it shows the map. It gives you the ability to have reviews and office open hours and your phone number and things like that. And the other thing is to look at your insights and your analytics and see which of your posts are doing really well, and see where your audience is coming from. What are the demographics of people who are actually tuning into your Facebook page and sharing and liking and commenting. and making sure that you get seen in news feeds is getting harder and harder. But some of it is just creating really good shareable content and making those connections with your community and getting people to come back to your page over and over again. So not necessarily promoting, maybe only promoting 10% of the time. But I'll show you some examples of some Facebook pages that I think are doing really well. So we'll go back to screen share again. And I've got some examples here. So this is Scoops Ice Cream and Espresso. So what the best Facebook pages do, I find, is they have a lot of visuals. So visual marketing is really, really huge. So having graphics and pictures and quotes and things like that that people want to share. So this is just something really simple, right? I mean, how easy is that? Thumbs up for a childhood great, right? So this is just very simple pictures that you would be able to take and share yourself. And, you know, talking about a few of their products and things when they've got specials going on, giving shout outs to other people in their community. Like I said, especially if you're a brick and mortar business, you're a really big part of the community. So make sure that you share things about other businesses and about other people that are relevant to you. And, you know, just kind of funny things that they found. So you don't need to create all of your own things. You can find things from other businesses and share their Facebook posts and status updates too. And if you notice, they've actually got a lot of reviews on their page. I'm just going to scroll down here. So this is, you know, vintage. So looking back at their page from 2008. So these things here are their reviews, and they talk a lot about their reviews. Even when they get bad reviews, they even say, hey, you know, not everybody's going to love us, but, you know, 90% of our customers have given us 5-star reviews, so thank you so much. So they give shout outs to people and say, thank you so much for supporting us and giving us those great reviews. And this is the one that I was thinking of. According to our most recent Yelp review, we are way overrated. Well, this guy gets his vote too. But thank you so much to everyone who has given us all of our 5-star reviews. So what a smart way of doing that, and getting people basically a call to action to go ahead and give reviews. And for them, they said, hey, you know, even the bad reviews help us to get better. And then, of course, they're showing some of their products that they've got. Who doesn't like ice cream, right? So this is one example and how they've done really well with their Facebook page. Another example is one that's local for me in Kelowna. They're called West Coast Authentic Memorabilia. That's a mouthful. And again, they've got lots of really good reviews. They've got lots of fans. And they have a lot of contests and things. They feature people and events in the community. Here they were part of a fundraiser for the Canadian Red Cross. You know, they're featuring their customers and things like that too. So how great is that? Like, it really makes people a part of their community. And one of the things that I first noticed about them, they did a contest that was Find the Golden Puck. And this was an 8-week-long contest, but it had a really, really good prize. And it actually went back and forth between giving clues, I think, on their website every week. So that drove traffic weekly for 8 weeks to their website. And then you had to come back to their timeline and look at the different dates and try and find that golden puck. So they might have said, you know, in March of this year, take a look for the video, what did I say at the end of the video, or something like that. So they actually forced people to spend some time looking through their Facebook page, go back to the website every week and get clues, and then at the end of 8 weeks, then they had a draw for a really, really big prize. If you're going to have a contest and you have a lot of work to do, then it has to have a prize that's kind of in line with that. So if you're just giving away a $20 gift card, maybe you'll have just you know, a quiz or something like that, or even just having people give their email and you'll do a random draw. Now, radio stations are also really good at this. So this is one of the local radio stations. This is Q103. And if you notice, radio stations tend to get a lot of interaction. They do a lot of contests. They do a lot of really fun things. So community building again. Anything that's going on in the community, of course, people are usually interested in seeing that. They have a lot of contests and winning free tickets and things like that. Here they are out in the community. and you can see people sharing it, commenting on it, and liking it, especially, of course, if it's your picture and your friends, then you're going to be sharing it and get the word out, right? So that's a really powerful way of connecting with your audience and doing things that involve them. It's about them and not about you. All right, so I think that covers pretty much all of the examples that I wanted to show you for today. And let me just stop screen sharing. There we are, back again. I just wanted to give you some examples so you can actually see the things that we've been talking about for the last month on the Power of Free show, and have some kind of visual reference so you can emulate these people, not exactly copy them, but use them to inspire you and see how you can do things in your own business, whether that's creating your Facebook page and getting more engagement, or getting out there in public speaking, maybe making your own show, or reaching out to people and asking to be a guest on their podcast or on their telesummit. And of course, I'm trying to monetize your Hangouts. So I hope you found that helpful today. Like I said, I want to try a little bit different format and dive a little bit deeper into things that we've talked about for this month, and I'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll do the same format at the end of every month. So pop on over to brightsparkmedia.ca and look for the Power of Free, and you'll see the show notes for all of the shows. You can also find me on YouTube at Smart Social Media for Biz. That's the number 4. Again, all these links will be under the video or on the show notes or on YouTube and Google, so you can find me no problem. And next time we'll be back to the regular format of the show and having guests, and some of the things that we've got coming up will be visual marketing. Like I said, that's pretty important, creating graphics and branding them and getting people to share your photo quotes and things like that, and not breaking copyright, because you can't actually just take people's pictures and share them. So creating your own images is a really good way to avoid any problems. We're going to talk about LinkedIn and Evernote and creating systems and law of attraction. So that's all coming up in future episodes of the Power of Free show. So thank you for tuning in today. I hope you've enjoyed this little bit different episode and learned a few new things. So this is the Power of Free show, where we help entrepreneurs and business owners to learn from other experts who are creating success online using free tools and resources. So I am Angelique Duffield, and thank you so much for tuning in today to the Power of Free, the showcase episode.